Hello! This is Hooked by Happenstance. I'm Kendra, and it is time for chapter 19 of Yarn Tales. Yarn Tales is my ongoing series here at Hooked by Happenstance, where I read books, I tell you a bit about them, and then I apply silly Kendra rules to my rating of the book, and I add to my reading shawl. My reading shawl is an ongoing project which started as one shawl, has become two, and we'll see where it ends up by the end of the year. And it is basically just my way of making a tangible product from intangible reading, which helps me to feel good about my choices to read more, which is what I ultimately want to be doing. So today's book is called What Light by Jay Asher. I listened to it via audiobook through Libby, which is the app for Overdrive, which I get through my local library. And I listened to it on my phone. This is the lightest, probably most frivolous book of the books that I have read so far this year. So out of 19 of them, this one has the least substance. And that's okay. Not all books have to have substance. Just letting you know up front, this one did not. Basically, this book is in that lovely genre of Christmas fiction. I didn't really think that was a genre, but I am really realizing it is as I scroll through the list of available books on Overdrive and Libby. There's a lot of books that are written just with like Christmas as the theme. Now, you may ask, Kendra, you dislike the holiday of Christmas intensely. Why, oh why, would you read a book about it? Well, I read it because the cover was really pretty. The cover is beautiful. It shows a girl in a beautiful hat, and just I really liked the font that they wrote the words in for What Light. And so that is why I picked this book. Now, the book is not necessarily about Christmas per se. It is about a girl whose family raises Christmas trees, and then they do this in Oregon, and then they take them all down to California, and they sell them on a Christmas tree lot. And so they spend like a month or something. I forget the exact time frame, but it really isn't that long for what a big deal she makes about the two worlds that she lives in. This book is full of teen hyperbole, like a lot of it. And so her family goes down to their Christmas tree lot from the farm, and they sell their trees, and she has a group of friends, and she, I guess, I don't know if she goes to school, but I guess she has friends. But just because she like knows the people that she sees every year, I don't know. She apparently is so torn between these two friend groups. Again, more of that teen hyperbole that goes on during this brief time every year when they're in the other place. So the story is about her and her family's trip down there. They're doing their Christmas tree selling thing. And of course, there's a boy. And the boy might be troubled. And so it tells you about what goes on, and there's a lot of rumors about him, but she thinks he's a nice guy. All like the facts in the book indicate that he's a nice guy, and then he even like addresses the rumors, and it's again teen hyperbole. It's not as big a deal as the book jacket wants to make you think it is. I mean, I don't know if they make you think it's a big deal, but they're like, ooh, is there something wrong? It's all a little over the top, but overall, it was a nice story. The characters were nice. It was just pleasant to read, other than the fact that, like, I kept going, seriously? Like, can we all just take it down a notch on intensity? These are not life or death issues, for the most part, that are being talked about. And the things that I did think were important in the book are kind of glossed over. So, I don't know. I gave it 3 stars, which is kind of a standard, like, meh. I guess this just falls in the genre that I consider meh, which is general teen romance with not a lot happening. Like, even if there's some, like, big moment, there's a lot of those kind of books where there's no overarching, like, life lessons, or these people don't grow either individually or as a couple, then it's just, I don't know, it's a 3. But it still has a beautiful cover. Beautiful cover. So now I assume that you'd like to see my shawl. So this was an audiobook, and as you know, I have 4 different yarns for the 4 different types of books that I am reading. There are books that I read with my kids, books through my Life's library subscription, which I get every 6 weeks, audiobooks, and physical books that I read by myself. This is an audiobook that I read by myself. So I used this yarn here. This is Lolo Did It and the original base in a one-of-a-kind color called Blarney Castle. And as you can see, I had a string of like 4 and 5-star books. That 3-star rating looks much smaller. I think it will add some nice interest though to my shawl. As I say, I don't think that 3 stars is a bad rating for a book. I think that sometimes people think that rating something like fair to middling is a bad rating. And I don't. I think it's just, it is what it is. It's standard. It's in the middle. And I think that it's important to have things in the middle because it makes the other things stand out more. If everything were amazing, then nothing is amazing. Everything is just, like, that is the new meh, right? So I think you can really see that in my shawl. If all of the stripes were this thick, it wouldn't stand out when you had a grouping of thick stripes. But if you have some thinner stripes in between, it helps break things up and just add some more interest to the shawl, and it added more interest to my reading. Like, I could just try and read books that I think are going to be life-changing, right? But frankly, that's exhausting. Sometimes you just need a light little, like a palate cleanser book. Like, one to just be like, okay, that's good. And that's kind of what this was. I had read The Poet X. I had read Mr. Penumbra's book, 24-Hour Bookstore, which I really liked. But like after that, I needed a little like, okay, you've read 2 books in short succession that were kind of intense, and I feel like there's some other books that had gone on at the same time that I'd been in process on, where just like I needed something quick, I needed something simple, and I just picked off a list. I didn't even really look too much into what I was reading, and it turned out it was fine. So I would potentially look into more books by this author in the future. Oh, that is the thing that's interesting. I forgot. The author of this book is the person who wrote 13 Reasons Why. That is why it was notable. Now, I have not read 13 Reasons Why. I actually will not read 13 Reasons Why. I won't watch the movie. I have no, like, I just know. Which I have no problem with other people, but you just have to know what things are going to be good for you and which things are not. So, this is the same author though, but it sounded from reading the synopsis like a very different kind of book, and it seems like it was. So that is it for this book, chapter 19. Gosh, so many books. Anyways, if you would like to see more of the things I've been reading and adding to my shawl, there is a whole Yarn Tales playlist here on the channel. And if you'd like to see the upcoming chapters, make sure that you're subscribed because they don't come out on a schedule, and that is the best way to just have them pop into your feed when I post them so you don't miss out on anything. And I will see you all next time. Bye!